It all started on a rainy Monday morning when Jasmine walked into the towering glass building of Hargrove Industries for her first day of work. She was nervous but composed, dressed in a neatly pressed navy suit, her hair pulled back into a professional bun. At just 24, Jasmine had graduated top of her class from Howard University and had already turned down offers from two Fortune 500 companies. She chose Hargrove not because it was the highest bidder, but because she had unfinished business here. No one at the company knew who she really was. They just saw a young black woman stepping into an entry-level position in the marketing department. And that's exactly what she wanted. She was here to learn what it meant to be at the bottom, to see how the company treated its lowest-ranking employees, because one day she would be running the place. Jasmine was the only child of Richard Hargrove, the reclusive CEO who had built the company from a garage startup into a billion-dollar enterprise. He had kept her identity a secret for years, raising her away from the media and corporate spotlight. Even most of the executives didn't know what she looked like. So when she introduced herself simply as Jasmine Walker, no one batted an eye. But one person definitely noticed her, and not in a good way. His name was Brent Calloway, the regional director of marketing, and a man who wore arrogance like cologne. Brent was known for running a tight, often toxic ship. He barked orders, never said please or thank you, and reserved his worst behavior for those he thought were beneath him, especially young women of color. So when Jasmine showed up, polite, competent, and confident, he immediately felt threatened. "You're the new temp?" he asked without looking up from his phone when she entered the marketing bullpen. "Actually, I'm the new marketing analyst," she replied, offering her hand. He barely glanced at it. "Great, another diversity hire." The words hit her like a slap, but Jasmine kept her face neutral. "I was recruited through the standard graduate program," she said calmly. "I'm excited to get started." Brent scoffed. "Just don't get in the way." Over the next few weeks, Jasmine witnessed and endured more than she had anticipated. Brent constantly belittled her in meetings, took credit for her ideas, and assigned her menial tasks far below her role. He openly questioned her competence in front of others, often using veiled language that dripped with racism and sexism. "Let's have someone with real experience handle this," he'd say, snatching a project she'd spent days developing. Jasmine kept her head down, documenting everything. She wasn't just taking notes, she was building a case. What Brent didn't know was that Jasmine reported directly to the board once a month. Her father had arranged it quietly. She would deliver confidential observations about the company culture, with a special focus on diversity, equity, and internal leadership. It was a trial by fire, and she intended to report everything truthfully. But things escalated when Brent humiliated her in front of a client. He had brought her along to a pitch meeting for a potential seven-figure contract with a lifestyle brand. Jasmine had worked on the campaign concept tirelessly and crafted the entire strategy, but Brent didn't give her a chance to speak. When the client asked a question about audience engagement metrics, Jasmine leaned forward to answer. Brent cut her off mid-sentence. "Let the adults handle this," he said with a laugh that made her blood boil. The client's smile faded. Even they seemed surprised by how dismissive he was. Jasmine clenched her jaw and didn't say another word. But later that evening, she sent a report directly to the board, outlining the incident, complete with timestamps, summaries of Brent's past behavior, and how his conduct could risk damaging client relationships and tarnishing the company's public image. What Jasmine didn't know was that the board had already been watching Brent closely. He was delivering results, but complaints from HR had piled up. Jasmine's report was the tipping point. The board requested an internal review, quietly. They didn't want to spook him just yet. Meanwhile, Jasmine kept working, even as Brent ramped up his harassment. He noticed her confidence and poise, and grew increasingly irritated. One Friday, he summoned her to his office. "You're not fitting in," he said, pacing behind his desk. "This team needs people who can follow orders, not challenge them." I wasn't aware that asking to contribute ideas was considered challenging, Jasmine said evenly. It is when it comes from someone like you. The implication was clear. Brent leaned forward. If you keep making noise, you won't last here. Trust me. Jasmine gave him a long look. We'll see. That weekend, Jasmine met with her father. Richard Hargrove sat in a private booth at their favorite diner, wearing jeans and a baseball cap, looking nothing like a billionaire. Jasmine told him everything. He listened without interrupting. When she finished, he set down his coffee. You've done well, he said. Next week we make it right. Monday arrived like a thunderstorm. The board called for an emergency town hall meeting. Brent strutted in late, looking smug and unaware. Jasmine stood quietly near the back, her heart pounding. The chairwoman of the board took the stage and began to speak. Effective immediately, Richard Hargrove is stepping down as CEO and handing leadership to his successor. Gasps rippled through the room. No one knew this was coming. The chairwoman smiled. Please welcome your new CEO, Jasmine Hargrove. Every head turned. Brent's jaw dropped as Jasmine walked slowly to the front, her steps steady and measured. She took the microphone. Some of you know me as Jasmine Walker. That's the name I used to see this company from the ground level. I've worked alongside you. I've been treated with respect by many, and I've been disrespected by a few. Her gaze locked on Brent. This company stands for excellence, equity, and integrity, and those who fail to uphold those values, no matter how high their rank, will be held accountable. Silence. Shock. Then the applause began. Thunderous, building, echoing across the room. Brent stood frozen, pale, sweat gathering at his collar. The chairwoman stepped back to the mic. Mr. Calloway, please see HR. Your services are no longer required. Jasmine didn't look at him as he left. She had bigger things to do now, bigger things to build.